With high computational power and distributed system, inter-process communication has become very critical to success of your complete model design. Often students get confused with basic computational procedure. In this example, I created an IPC communication between client and server and perform some basic tasks like a file upload, file download, rename and delete operation on a server. I have created wrapper for my client, server and the file handling. Let's go to the server directory. Inside server directory, you can see file reading.cpp, file reading.h, file server.cpp and server.h. So server.h and server.cpp is a server wrapper, file reading.h and file reading.cpp is a file reading wrapper which is responsible for file related tasks. Server.cpp and server.h is responsible for such server related tasks. I have created makefile. So makefile is responsible to create an object and the executable for a server. To execute this code, you have to download this to execute this file. You have to download this code on a Ubuntu and just execute the make command. It will create the object file and server executable for you. Let's go to the server wrapper. So inside server wrapper, I have created the API open socket, bind server, listen server, accept server, send server and receive server. This jobs to perform the server related task and create a socket. So let's go into server.cpp. So server.cpp, at first you need to open the socket. Once your socket is get open, you need to bind that server. After successful binding, you start listening to a server. After successful listening, you need to be ready to accept a new connection from the client. And when your connection is established, you send and receive data from a server to a client. Let's go to the file reading.h. In the file reading.h, I am opening the file, closing the file, reading the file data, writing on the file data, removing the file and renaming the file depending upon the command received from the client. In the server.file reading.cpp, I have given the business logic all the API. Go to server.main. Server.main is responsible to creating the server object and the file object and perform the required data. So I have created the server object here. Once the server object is get created, it is opening the socket. After successful socket open, it is bind to the server. Once it is bind to the server, it is listen to the server and it is ready to accept any connection from the client. Once the connection is established, it received the command from the client and perform the required task, and after successful performing, it closed the socket. Let's go to the client side. So in the client side also we have makefile and the file reading wrapper. So I will just explain you client.h. So in the client.h, you have to open the socket, then get the host name for a server to which you want to connect. Then you need to connect your client and then read and write operations. Client.cpp. So inside client.cpp, you connect to open the socket. Once you open the socket, you need to get the host name to which you want to connect. In the connect client, you connect to the client according to your host name and the port. Once the client is connected to the server, you send the write command and the read command. So write and read command is your actual command, like if you want to rename the file or you want to delete the file or anything. So client.main is responsible for creating the client objects. So inside menu, you decide what command you want to send, like upload, download, delete or rename. So inside main, I created the client objects and my file objects. Once a client object is get created, I create a command according to your menu choice. Then I open a socket, get the host name, connect to the client, send command, receive command. Once you connect to the client, you send a data like a rename, delete, whatever the client wants to perform. And once his task is performed successfully, you close the socket.